You walk towards the figure on the dais, but wisps of mist start to cloud your vision. With each step, the mist gets thicker, hiding the figure from sight.
Thane? Thane!
You push through the fog, chasing the voice at breakneck speed. You trip and start to fall, but catch yourself against a bookcase? You look around in shock as the mist clears. You are standing in a library, your library. You hear a cough behind you and turn to see your assistant, Harina. She hands you a thick book, Observations on the Universal Veil. You look at her in confusion as she explains, "You asked me to bring you your research, Master Fane, for your guest." As you walk through the library, Harina expresses her condolences. It is a shame that the king forbade further investigation into the veil. It was a fascinating topic. She leads you to a door, your study, and pushes it open to introduce your visitor. You step through the door and see the Lady Amadia, one of the 7 lords.
Oh, please, there is no need for ceremony or dusty titles. You may address me as Amadia. I must say, you created quite a stir earlier, dear Fane. The other lords and I were quite impressed with your research. We believe the king's decree that you should not investigate the veil was misguided. We would like to view more of your research. And I see you have already brought me some reading material. Kindly give it here, my boy. The king, the king. Is he truly all our people ever talk about? What of knowledge, young one? What of discovery?
She snatches the book from your hands, thumbing through it, engrossed by your research.
Yes. Yes, quite fascinating. A barrier of pure source. Do you truly think this veil is the key to unlocking a new future? Yes, so we gathered. We found it strange that the king would refuse you the chance to explore something that could be so beneficial to our people. But perhaps there are still paths we can walk. Perhaps.
There is a crash of timber behind you, and you can feel hands grabbing you. You are dragged backwards as Amadia screams. The screams fade to nothing, as does the scene before you. You're standing on the cold, glowing stones once more, with Lady Amadia before you.
Fane, darling Fane. I had to know. I had to be sure. If you were not who you claimed, it could have been a disaster. Peace, my child. You will have your answers, but I may only give one at a time. First, you must understand the madness the king unleashed on the world. Ah, but we are gods. We ascended beyond our previous forms. But we had no choice. Not after what we discovered. We know why the king forbade your research. He already knew about the Veil, Fane. He was draining its power, leeching from it to build up his own strength. When we confronted him about this betrayal, he used his power to try and subdue us, to turn us to slaves. He wasn't satisfied with our fealty. He wanted total control. His madness for power knew no limits. We fought, of course. The king scorched our land, but by uniting, we overcame his evil. He was banished beyond the veil he had tried to subvert, but our victory was hollow. Our people, oh my child, they were erased, destroyed utterly. We seven were all that remained. I fear that it is. But you must steel yourself. The fight is not yet done. For centuries, the king has been searching for a way back into our world. And beyond the veil, he found the force that could help him do it. The moment we discovered the void, we understood the veil was created to hold it at bay by powers even more ancient than us. But thanks to the king, that evil has been seeping through the cracks. We have contained both ever since, but now, alas, they are winning. I fear this is so, but the blame is not mine alone. Once we seven stood united, now...
Amadia turns and gestures to the scene behind her. Down below, you can see the 6 other gods fighting, clawing at each other, everyone desperately trying to get the upper hand.
Over the centuries, the drip of void into this world corrupted the others while they played with their mortal races. I fear it is too late for them, for us. But you, Fane, you have been untouched by it all. The world needs a power to protect it, and you are the key, Fane. But you have fallen so far. You will feel whole once again, child. You have my word. I will guide you, but first you must return to the world and escape that island. But you will return more powerful. As your first step towards righting the wrongs of this world, I grant you my blessing and give you the ability to bless in turn.
Amadia stretches her hand out, and you feel a warm glow spread through your bones. You feel a sensation that you have not felt in a very, very long time.
You may have noticed I have tried to help you on your journey, that I can bless the very water beneath your feet. Now, and this is only the beginning, more and greater powers await you, if only you will seek them, and seek them you must. But before you begin, a word of warning. I gather that you travel with a pack of these lesser creatures. It is only natural after so long spent alone, but you must be wary. Some of these creatures are more dangerous than they seem. They are God-woken, the chosen champions of the other 6 gods. And then there is the one you know as Losa. She is something else. Something wicked. You must beware of her above all others. For they will all walk the same path as you, but they cannot be allowed to reach its end. You must be the one. Only one of our people can wield this power. Only you, Fane.
She lays her hand on your skull, and you see it clearly. The others, the gods, Amadia, and you. You are her chosen. You are her God-woken.
So go forth into the world with my blessing, dear one. Heed my words and go.
Blessed branches, we've returned. Every second we spent in that hellish place was a second the great acorn drew closer. Interesting. You thought it was interesting, Quercus? Do you know what's interesting? Watching an entire world be strangled by the roots of doom, seeing the giant races fall like leaves in frost, hearing the screams of... I don't know what you're talking about. I am perfectly calm. Anyway, as interesting as that cold hellscape might have been, it does not solve our problem. We are here to stop the great acorn, not hide from it. It's already helping more than it knows, Quercus. The fate of the world depends on our ability to research a spell to protect Rivellon. We need to travel across the land, gathering clues, experimenting with different magics, and come up with a spell to shield Rivellon from its doom. Of course, for us to do that, we must avoid being eaten by the servants of the Great Acorn, and that is where our big, foolhardy shield comes in. Quirkers! Quirkers! It thinks it could use magic at our level. I don't know if that's adorable or just sad. No! I am not going to share our magic with it. I don't care how much you like it, Quirkers. Very well, I cannot give it magic, but I can teach it how to forge one spell, if it will keep you happy. One!
The squirrel reaches out, touching your foot with a delicate paw, and you feel your mind open. You can see the forces of magic and see how to combine them in a new way.
There. Maybe now your pet will have a fighting chance. Yes, yes, you're welcome. But can we please get on and save the world now?
The deity's head and hands are missing, severed as if by a sword. You can't tell if this was meant to be symbolic somehow, or a mere act of vandalism.
Big fire boom, lightning crash. One moment, sun. The next, I feel darkness inside me, then noise. So much noise. Clank, moan, clink, groan. I hid in a stump. I'm not a stupid squirrel. I have much stowed away for hard times. But I saw them. I saw the shinies. Shinies! Darkness left, then light again. Warm. Saw glints in sand and dirt. Can't go there now. Salamanders. They like the meat. I don't want to be meat. Yay! Okay. I hope you find shinies. They make happy.
Be welcome to this sanctuary. Amadian.
Maybe we should fortify this place. Make us stand. No, we don't have the time. Think, damn it. Gareth would know what to do.
Wisht, bonny bairn, now don't you cry. The birds are
A young man in oversized armor paces around a table covered with a spread of maps, his face a tight scowl of frustration.
Every approach blocked. Oh, damn it! What good are battle tactics against those things anyway?
He glances up. In quick succession, he becomes aware of both your presence and the fact that you're not a familiar face.
Who the blazes are you? A sorcerer, indeed. I should have realized. A seeker can always recognize a sorcerer when they see one. You meant Verdus? Then he's as good as dead. We're the seekers he spoke of. We were supposed to free him. Instead, we've failed him.
wisht, bonny bairn.
You, a Godwoken? Surely not.
Birds are asleep.
Though if Verdus said so. You could be important, but there's no way to be certain until we've left this blasted island behind us.
The young man anxiously fidgets with his curved bow. You've found a matter close to his heart, evidently.
That's easier said than done, I'm afraid. Much easier said. The Magisters have us cornered. They have these weapons called Shriekers. If we try to go against them unprepared, we're dead. We've lost many already. They were sorcerers once, but after whatever perversions the Magisters subjected them to, they're death incarnate. If they can see you, they can kill you. Instantly. After we retreated here, our leader, Sir Gareth, set out looking for some ancient weapons that could counter those things. Then we could break the Magister blockade and escape this island. But he hasn't returned. If Sir Gareth doesn't come back with those weapons in tow, well, this island will be our grave. You'll help us?
His shoulders visibly relax, the weighty armor upon them settling with a clink.
Thank you. Allies are in short supply in this place. If you help us, I promise we'll get you as far away from this place as possible. Please ask. Whatever helps. We keep the ideals of Lucian the Divine alive. The world needs Source, and those who are most adept at using it. We aim to protect those special few. We came to free an elf called Verdus from Fort Joy. He was a Godwoken. He could have been the next Divine, but we failed him. Sir Gareth? He's the finest seeker I know. I'm honored to serve as his squire. He wouldn't let us down. Not unless something's gone horribly wrong. None. He set out to find those source weapons, and that's the last we saw of him. The masked priestess, Gratiana, told Sir Gareth of them after she granted us shelter here. She was reluctant at first, but, well, Sir Gareth can be very insistent. Speak to her if you wish. She may know more. The Magister flagship, the Lady Vengeance, she's anchored at the old harbour. Once the way is clear, we're to take her and get the hell out of here.
A dwarf stands by a young woman. He seems intensely focused on her, whispering and singing softly in her ear. She's staring blankly into space.
Blood and bone. Fire and smoke. Death and worse.
Hush now, Leia. They'll not hurt you again. You're safe now. Once Gareth gets back, we're going home. You'll see. He'll be fine.
The woman rubs her neck, raking her nails across her skin as she whimpers. The dwarf starts at the sound of your voice, gripping the woman's arm for a moment before he relaxes.
New faces. Hope you weren't bushwhacked by the Magisters too. As for her neck, she's remembering the damnable sword skull that she once wore. Lucky for us, she had the skills to remove them. There's many a sorcerer that's been freed thanks to her. Aye, that weren't my call. She's not suited to this.
Howling dogs and men. Friends silently screaming through stitched mouths.
He puts his arm around her as she starts to sob.
She's delicate at the best of times. I asked Simone for something to help her relax, but Gareth's the only one who truly keeps her calm. If we didn't need her to remove Urdus' collar, she'd be safe somewhere far from here. And now the rescue's scuppered. It were all for nothing. We were part of the caravan headed to Fort Joy, shiny collars and all. Gareth and the Seekers ambushed the caravan and freed us, saved every one of us from that hell. But now he's off searching for weapons to take down them Shriekers, and all we can do is sit here, thinking about the Godwoken we didn't save.
From fragments to whole. From their past to our future. From their hope to ours.
She ain't detailed, but she ain't wrong. The Godwoken are our hope that a new divine can be born. Someone to replace Lucian and push back them Voidwoken. Someone to restore order and protect the source. I'd speak to Exeter if you want to know more. There's ways, but I ain't privy to them. One thing I do know, mind. The Voidwoken have their number. They react to Godwoken like no one else.
Barking dogs in wolves' clothing.
We don't have the time. Think, damn it.
Teeth in the sea. Teeth in the swamp. Teeth in the air.
Aye, there's enough of them about. But don't you worry none. Gareth will be back soon. Then we'll be home in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. We were part of the caravan headed to Fort Joy. Shiny collars and all. Gareth and the Seekers ambushed the caravan and freed. But now he's off searching for weapons to take down them Shriekers.
The dwarf starts to sing softly as the woman rocks slowly in her seat.
No, no. We don't have the time.
So long as Derek
Smoke and screams.
Gareth would know.
Echoes of death.
Wished Bonnie Baron,
Gareth.
now don't you cry.
Please come back.
The birds are asleep, the moon's in the sky. The seven watch o'er us, you're safe in bed. So close your sweet eyes and rest your wee head.
More junk. This is ruin.
Martha's axe looks serviceable.
The air out here's a damn sight better than in Fort Joy, eh?
Martha's axe
Me
looks
too. A god I don't believe in told me things about myself I don't believe. Yeah. Well, what can I say? Whatever we believe, we still need to live in the here and now. So, let's get back to work.
Ivan begins counting on his fingers and muttering to himself. This goes on for quite some time.
43, give or take.
Ifan nods ruefully and barks a laugh.
It's not a competition. It's my job. What else do you want to know? That I did. In Lucian's own army. Yeah. Stay out of their way. From the rank and file to the top brass, they're as ruthless as the wildest lone wolf. But the difference? A wolf never tries to hide what he truly is. There's a reason I don't wear order garb anymore. But I don't like to talk about those days. Thanks for understanding. Now, let's keep moving. The air out here's a damn sight better than in Fort Joy, eh? Not much, I'll tell you that. Why? What do you think of them? Ha! I figured you for someone who wouldn't buckle under their yoke so easily. Come on, get your spirits up. I'll wager they can't keep the likes of us locked up too long. Let's poke around and see if we can sniff out some blind spots in their surveillance. The air out here's a damn sight better than in Fort Joy, eh?
Ifan looks at you askance, then doubles up, laughing. He wipes tears from his eyes and stutters to speak, but he can't stop laughing enough to do...
Oh, she was a fine one. You see there, she writes like a cottage innocent, but the truth is, it was she who stole everything from the chems. She wrote that whole book to cover her tracks, so nobody would look for the missing gold anywhere near her. She never even met Roost, though she paints quite an accurate picture of his, bedroom antics.
And with that, he's laughing uncontrollably again, waving you away with both hands.
Lonely? I wouldn't think so. I went from life in the regiment, to life in the pack, to life on the road with you. I haven't had time to be lonely.
He pauses, reddening slightly as he looks at you curiously.
Unless, wait. What did you mean exactly? Ah, yes. Of course.
Seeming surprised, Ifan gladly takes the drink from your hands and downs a hefty glug.
Ah, that hit the spot.
He holds the flagon out to you. The alcohol hits you like the void itself. Your head spins and your feet feel unsteady. Suddenly, being stuck in a prison ruled by the despotic order doesn't strike you as the worst way to spend time.
This reminds me of sharing Rotgut with Roost and the boys back at camp. Wish they weren't so far. So tell me, if we weren't stuck here, what would you be doing with your time? A worthy dream, lad. I'm sure you can claim a patch for yourself after all this is over. Relic of flame. That brew went straight to my bladder. If you'll excuse me. The air out here's a damn sight better than in Fort Joy, eh?
Ifan tips his fingers to his temples and saunters ahead.
Quite right. Do seek my counsel. I highly recommend it.
Most of this is scrap.
There was a small incident which prompted my many rivals to move against me. Technically, they had the letter of the law on their side. Such a nuisance, the law. Quite necessary to keep the common in line, of course, but one such as myself it should exempt as a matter of course. What I meant was that, being authority, I shouldn't be under any thumb. I had thought that was perfectly obvious. Sadly, that enlightened point of view quite clearly turned out to be academic. If not, I hardly know you as yet. Let's leave some mystery in the relationship, shall we? We can exchange criminal records later. Oh, don't tell me you've never heard the stories. The tale of my birth has been a bedtime staple for years. A dinner party favorite. Cute. Very well then, listen closely. One day a red sun rose, turning the desert sands into a blood-colored sea. When my mother, roused from dreams, beheld this crimson dawn, she knew the time had come and promptly gave birth to me. The sun rose to its zenith, but there settled, refused to descend towards the beckoning dusk. Instead, she hung there for 7 days and 7 bright, starless nights. So enamored was she with her little red prince. Indeed, I've been a married man since the day I was born, for they call me the spouse of the sun. She who is all life and beauty, she whose colour I wear not in cloth, but in skin. Isn't it just? A beautiful, beautiful story.
He laughs wryly, baring rows of shark-like teeth.
There are those who believe that little legend, you know. I'm not one of them. To tell you the truth, I've no idea why I'm red, but I do fancy I was rather lucky to be born a prince. My heritage made people celebrate my uniqueness. Had I been common-born, they might have just drowned me in a well. Why, thank you. You'll find I don't live up to expectations with remarkable frequency. Case in point is that I have a high opinion of myself because of my unparalleled skills and intellect, not because of the bed I was born in. Though I won't go so far as to deny absolute wealth has its perks. Absolute power, for instance. No wonder I seek my way back to the throne. More glorious than you could ever imagine. More glorious than I wish to recall here. Ask me again once we escape, and I'll tell you tales that will last us 1,000 nights. Indeed. Rallick, if I'm not mistaken. Always was rather the slow sibling in the pantheon, wasn't he? Because you're the very apex of your species, I assume. You really mustn't let one little god meeting go to your head. My goddess told me the same thing. Of course she did. But I do wonder, can a god be called a god still if they have to plead with another to assume the powers they seem to have lost? Of course I did. Only I'm not foolish enough to let it buy my loyalty.
This is ruin.
I'd say we should stop to talk, but I'm swamped. Don't make much of it one way or the other, but the farther we get away from the joy, the better. There's got to be a way off this island. Sure thing, Chief. What's up?
She bats her eyelashes coquettishly over black eyes in grey sockets.
Just for you, Chief. Of course I do. What's your poison? Well, damn. I never was much of a percussionist, but still. I reckon it's hard to sit still to jungle shakes.
Losa clears her throat and starts stomping a steady beat into the ground, kicking up dust that dances to the rhythm. Slowly, she claps an intricate pattern above the beat, hips swaying, head nodding. The beat builds into a riot of sound, her hands and feet moving in an inscrutable pattern. She takes a deep breath and starts humming above the rhythm, a sound like a train, like a flock of birds, like nothing else.
Savage hearts in it. I can't. It isn't that. Never mind. We should keep moving. Well, I was giving this concert up on Overlook Hill. There was a great crowd. They were really feeling it. But I guess it was too good. I had me a little sauce flare-up. Everyone went a bit, I don't know, wild, rabid. I snapped out of it before anyone got hurt, but the Magisters caught me backstage afterwards. At least I went down doing what I loved. How very sweet of you to notice. I know, it's weird. One of the many side effects of the visitor upstairs.
She drums on her forehead with 2 fingers, smiles grimly, and shrugs.
They used to be blue. Oh well.
She bats her eyelashes at you in an exaggerated flutter, then bursts out laughing and punches your arm.
Haha, character. I like that. I'm gonna use... If I can say nothing else for my current companion, at least I can say it gave me a bit of character. So what's it like, being alone in your head? Guess we can enjoy the quiet when we're dead. Nope. This one doesn't talk to me. It talks through me. You'll know it when you see it.
A grim-faced man sifts through a pile of badly damaged weapons, salvaging the repairable, ditching the broken. He picks up a rapier, the blade nicked and splintered, the hilt twisted. He holds the damaged blade up to the light.
This was Halon's blade. It was his first. It was also his last. He didn't intend to die here, but die here he did. He was an ordinary soul with an extraordinary heart, Halon. What did Halon believe in? He believed in truth. He believed in hope. He believed that Alexander is a killer of Godwoken. I believe that on one point at least, he was right.
The point breaks away, leaving a jagged edge. The sword is shorter now, but it'll do more damage.
Who are you?
He realizes, to his surprise, that he holds the weapon in his hand, ready for battle. He smiles to himself, tucks the weapon away, and gets back to work.
Martha's axe looks serviceable.
You tried your best, Han. I'm glad you're safe now.
We aren't really safe here, are we?
So long as Gareth returns, we will be.
Hello, stranger.
The disheveled pair eye you with hope, though their hope is tinged with mistrust. The lizard gasps as she notices the marks left on your neck by the source collar.
You've come from Fort Joy. Can I ask if... Did you happen to meet a man named Gareth on your way here through the swamp?
He'll be back, Samadel. I know he will. He has to.
He has to, indeed. We need our leader. And if he doesn't return with help soon, we haven't a hope. Have you heard of Shriekers?
Han looks down with a flinch. Samadel reaches out, grasping his hand.
They're weapons that can kill with a screech. The Magisters patchwork them from living sorcerers. Don't misunderstand me. We're not afraid to fight, but we are powerless against Shriekers. The priestess at the shrine told Gareth some ancient secrets, some defenses that could be found in Brackus' armory, and he went there, in the hopes of finding it. Whatever it is, you're kind to offer. But you'd best talk to Gareth's squire, Exeter. He'll know where your talents can be most used. Now, Han, let's take a look at your nasty leg injury.
Catch you later, stranger. It's good you're here.
Please! Oh.
Rest, Jules.
The young woman chews her lower lip as she observes the injured before her. She bends to grab a rag, wiping her blood-smeared hands. She looks...
If you're looking for healing, sorcerer, well, there's not much I can do.
The woman wrings the blood-stained rag in her hands anxiously.
Magisters aren't known for their mercy. Many of us died. And the ones here will likely follow the same fate, by a slower road. I've done all I can. Their wounds are too great. All I can offer them now is prayer and a cup of water. If you know a way, I'd be beyond grateful. Magic? All I've got is my own 2 hands and...
She trails off and limply gestures to her paltry makeshift infirmary.
I'm not even a healer. Ours was killed in the attack. I'm just a cook. Do what you will. Just don't cause them any more suffering. Claude? Claude? Can you hear me?
In an instant. My wounds have all but vanished. I didn't think. I was... Thank you.
Let me change your dressing.
I will not be a burden. Leave me be. The Magister flagship. It has ballastay that tore our ship into kindling. The shard from our own mast pierced my side. I'm lucky the others managed to haul me all the way here. Especially after I saw what the Magisters did to those of us they captured.
He shudders at the memory.
They turned the living into shriekers. Crucified wretches that unleash pure destruction on anyone who tries to pass. I wish I had a fitting way to thank the person who saved my life. As it is, all I can offer is, well, it's not much, but maybe you'll find some use for it. Thank you.
He has cheated death. Thank you, stranger.
I feel better.
Claude, are you still with us? Mateys, let me change your dress.
I will not be a burden. Leave me be.
Summeredale smiles with relief at Han's healed leg, bowing gently in thanks when your eyes meet.
I feel better.
You healed me. How did you... Oh, never mind. I don't care how. I only care that today won't be my last.
I don't remember much. I barely had time to realize the Magisters were attacking before I was injured. The last those Magisters are gonna pay in blood for what they did to us.
If my mother were here, she'd box my ears for not being able to thank you properly. Though I reckon that walloping from the Reds was punishment enough. Take this, at least. It'll have to do. Thank you.
Make sure all of them check death today. Mateys, the wound is festering. It needs to be changed.
Fine, I swear. Say to the others. I will not be a burden. Leave me be.
all of us. I owe you a debt. We all do. The Magisters attacked our camp back at the harbour. I caught one of their arrows right in my side. That would have been a slow death. I've seen it before.
He lands a comradely slap on your back. His strength has definitely returned.
Don't you doubt it. This old war serpent's still got some fight left in him, especially now that wound is healed.
Feel better.